Hey, what's going on, my friends? Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Victor, and today I'm going to share with you 5 signs that you are going through, and I'll explain, an emotional awakening. This video is for empathic people who are now going through the biggest shift and transformation of their life, okay? An emotional awakening for an empathic person is like a rite of passage in a sense. It's a transition between you who chose to come into this world and temporarily forget your roots, forget your soul, forget who and what you are, and then sort of be like cut loose to play the earth game for a while. And then most empathic people earlier in their life, they don't like it. They've chosen to take on certain challenges that challenge them, and they're just cracked open all the time, always sensitive and not really knowing how to turn it off and mute people and their energies. And it can be kind of an uncomfortable earlier life. But every empathic person comes to a point in their life where their purpose for coming in the way they have becomes revealed. But it's not just like, here's your purpose, here it is. It's like an unfoldment of the self. It's a spiritual awakening, a spiritual shift, an emotional awakening. Okay, it's a process very similar to like a new plant. The longest time, we'll say, metaphorically speaking, you've been in the ground, you planted your seed, you don't like the dirt, it's suffocating, you're like, what the heck am I doing in all of this dirt? And all of a sudden you start to sprout up. And that's like the beginning of the emotional awakening. But a young seedling is sort of, it's new to the elements of the wind and the sun and the humidity and the moisture and getting rained on. It's like, whoa, it's a lot to handle, okay? But as it battles the elements and like has the wind blow on it and so forth, it develops strength. It gets more accustomed to being above the dirt, more exposed, more open to life, and eventually it digs its roots deep and it thickens its stalk and sprouts this gorgeous flowers and blossoms and becomes this gorgeous specimen that not only is beautiful and a humongous asset to humanity, especially right now, but it's sturdy, it's firm, it's accomplished, it knows itself. My friend, it's all about you turning into a tree right now. That's the emotional awakening, okay? And anyway, I digress. This video is going to share with you 5 signs that you are going through that right now. Sign number 1, you're feeling far more sensitive than ever before. And you would argue, say, no, Vic, dude, I've been sensitive. I've already been through this. I was sensitive in school, sensitive around people. I just get fatigued by other people's bad moods very easily. I've been sensitive. But now, it's like times 10. It's like I've 10x my sensitivity. If I couldn't get any more sensitive, here I am. Same thing happened to me, man. You know, when I was like grade school, I was very sort of shy, but also just, I had to put a lot of energy and focus into managing my emotions. And I could look around and see most people weren't really thinking about this the way I was, but I could my emotions would just be so physical, so palpable, so intense, that it was like this constant thing. And I thought, man, I'm too sensitive, this sucks. And then once high school hit, my goodness, it was even worse. My life was like that for a while. And I thought, you know, I kind of come out of that and I adjusted to some semblance, some degree. But then, you know, back in 2011 for me is when I went through this emotional awakening. And that's when I became more sensitive than I could have even imagined, not just to my emotions, but to like my subtle energy. I could literally, my imbalance that I could now perceive of my subtle energy and my blocked chakras became a legitimate issue because it translated into like, you know, mental fogginess, lack of clarity, lack of focus, wishy-washy emotions. I'm kind of feeling all over the place and this and that. So if you're going through that, if you've always been sensitive, and you probably are, if you like my videos, probably you're an empathic soul, but now you're feeling more sensitive than ever. Your anxiety might be creeping up and it's like, oh my goodness, what gives? What the heck? Jeez. Okay, that's part of it. That's part of it. That's your soul now embracing your blessed sensitivity, for it's going to allow you to blossom in ways that is somewhat rare. and you're going to be heavily rewarded in all areas of your life in going through this process. Number 2 is your deeper issues that maybe you somewhat successfully compartmentalized earlier in life, or maybe you weren't even aware of them. Regardless, they're coming up to the surface for you. And more so, you're manifesting your own processing issues physically, like very obviously. Like for me, I started breaking out in all these weird rashes, and I was getting sick all the time. I would feel just exhausted, just like for no reason, just super fatigued, to the point where it's like, oh my goodness, am I dying? Am I gonna be okay here? Should I go to the doctor? I actually did. But it was like all my different, I came to realize that I could correlate my physical ailments with the current pattern or emotion or unresolved distortion within myself that's making its way out of my system. And then I came to see as the physical ailments and the problems as very valuable and helpful clues. But it's a very unusual thing to find yourself going through. But again, it's tied to your emotional awakening, your emotional blossoming. You're not alone, you're not crazy. Number 3, I wrote down a healing crisis. Not only are you dealing with all this different stuff, but you might find that life just tends to be arranging itself in such a peculiar way that it's so perfectly provocative for driving you bananas. Meaning that things, you might feel like there's a lot of different things going wrong in your life, which essentially really is meaning that things that no longer resonate are trying to fall away. But it can just start to happen suddenly. And when you discover that you lived a lot of your life unconsciously, which we all have, and many of the things in your life don't really belong to you, don't really mirror perfectly your true self. So a lot of things can start to kind of collapse in your life while you go through this sort of dark night of the soul type of process. And it's like a healing crisis. It's like a time where you're like, whoa, dude, what's going on here? Is everybody going through this? And you look around, it's like, no, not everybody's going through this. And it can be very daunting. I remember one situation for me was when I was living in Michigan and my careers were kind of falling away. I'd given up my jobs because I felt inspired to, and I had no money coming in, no idea what I was going to do. And there was one day where like I just found myself in my basement, laying on the concrete, just feeling completely and utterly helpless. Like my life just felt like it was ripping away from me, and there's nothing I could do. I didn't even have the energy to even think of a good plan or anything. Like that, healing crisis. But you know what happened shortly after that? My life transformed in a way I could have never possibly predicted or fathomed. You go through this crisis, but then afterwards you go through this blossoming, this flowering, this ascent that's in equal proportion to whatever you're going through right now, if you're going through it at this time, okay? So it's part of an epic blossoming on all levels. And that word doesn't even do it justice. I'm saying that by going through this, all the things that you feel are important to you are going to transform and shift in an extremely ideal and positive way for you, like your relationships. They're going to rearrange a little bit, maybe, but you're going to have like awesome relationships. You have these like soul connections with your career, your finances, your abundance, your freedom, everything, your health. It's all going to be taken up like another level, a level you didn't even think you could possibly reach in this lifetime. It's going to happen, and it's going to happen fast after you go through this temporary little healing crisis here. Okay? And don't just take my word for it. I guarantee right now, in fact, I would venture to guess that the darker the time, the more connected you are to a certain level of knowingness that everything I just said is valid, that this is connected to something very powerful, and all you got to do is just hang on a little bit longer. Number 4, to kind of reiterate what I just said, all this stuff I'm saying, it's like, whoa, like imagine like your parents or your brother or your friends going through what you're going through. It's a lot. It's a lot for a person to go through, and yet the whole time you have this growing knowing that it's all going to be okay. Not even that. It's all going to work out beautifully. That everything is happening for a reason. and that you're going through kind of like a rite of passage right now and coming into this spiritual maturity, and you're going to be cultivating a newfound depth of connectedness with your soul. And then you get to be the lucky recipient of the end result of that process as you go through life, making wiser choices, feeling more grounded in your awesomeness and your talents. You might start surprising yourself with how skilled you can become at certain things, and how much fun you can have in life, and how much passion you can go through life with, okay? So all of that, you're telling yourself, is connected with what you're going through, but it still kind of sucks at the time. I agree. Number 5, you know why this is happening. When you start to go through this emotional awakening one way or another, you let yourself know, even if it's through some YouTube guy, that what you're going through, it's a small little thing, it's a small little part of a greater happening that's taking place right now on the planet. There's a collective evolution taking place right now in rapid fashion that you are a part of, that you are, in a sense, a path carver. Through this process, you're sort of intuitively guiding yourself through, even though it's challenging. You're going to be like with a machete in the woods, carving a path where there never was one before. In fact, more so, it's like the path it's a mess. It's a very, very, very dense jungle you're working with. So the process is like slow going. You're like, oh my God, is ever gonna end? And then you one day you look back and you see other people following in your footsteps, and you realize just why you've been going through all this, because it's not just about you. It's about creating a way and being a leader you came to be for other people. And my God, that even though you'll be up there with a machete still for a while, when you start seeing the people responding to your frequency and your transformation, you're going to feel so good and so whole and so complete, because you'll truly be at one with the mission you came to take on in this lifetime. Okay, my friends, so safe to say, if all those 5 things resonate and you're still here with me and you haven't said, get away, weirdo, then you didn't even need this video. You already know all the things I'm telling you. So just keep on going through life firm in that knowing, and you'll be right as rain. Okay? So anyway, thank you, my friends, for listening. Thank you for watching. If you're brand new to my channel, let me just say welcome. It's a pleasure to have you here. I have created a free guided meditation that will help anyone going through this process big time by teaching you how to align with what you call your higher self. It's a sort of a channeled meditation I created. It's totally free. Check it out down below at the top of the description box if you like. If not, that's fine too. I'll see you in the next video, hopefully. Have an amazing day, my friend. Namaste.